Hey y'all. So I was reading Second Chronicles earlier, and something that stood out to me is Second Chronicles chapter 10, verses 6 through 9. Now, remember, I don't if you've seen my previous one of my previous shorts where I was talking about King Rehoboam and how he took advice from people who didn't go who weren't going where he was going, basically. And that was in the Book of Kings. Now, Chronicles, if you've ever read it, is basically summarizing everything that happened in Kings, minus every king's first and last actions. And so, um, yeah, he asked the old man for counsel, but something that stood out was when he asked the old man, and mind you, this was the counsel of Solomon, the wisest king to ever live. So they knew what they were talking about. And he when he asked them, he said, "What advice?" He said, "What advice do you give me that I may return to return answer to this people?" Basically to give the children of Israel an answer. Um but when he asked the young man whom he grew up with, he said, "What advice can you give?" He said, "What advice can you give that we may return answer to this people?" And he gave them much more context on top of that. Like he was like, it was as if he was like, he felt more comfortable talking to them than actual wise men who was the counsel of your father, you know? And what, ooh, and I really pray that you receive this because it went to show that he didn't have a kingdom mindset for the kingdom that he was being called to. And the simple fact that he was still associating himself with people who had no clue about the things of the kingdom, also didn't have kingdom mindsets, and on top of that, were not called to what he was called to, that went to show that he wasn't even thinking in the kingdom. And that's a word for somebody, because ponder on the things of the kingdom, think of the things of the kingdom, for every good and perfect thing comes from above.